Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Hare Krishna. Today I hope we complete first verse, first shloka. Actually we say shloka, but shloka is not right, because shloka is another name of anushtup. Anushtup is like meter, yes, but sometimes we say this shloka. Actually this verse is written in the meter Shardula Vikridita, like steps of tiger, Shardula. How tiger is walking? How tiger is walking? Someone knows? Did you meet tiger in Bengaluru? No tiger here. Only like this. Sometimes you see tiger, oh, then no tiger, then tiger is like this. Then also this verse is like this. Shardula Vikridita is special matter in Bhagavatam. When we need to express the feeling of love like this. So much desire inside of this. Krishna is crooked. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratas. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditaratas. Itaratas. Charte sabhigya swarat. Tene brahma hridaya dikavaye. Mohyanti yatsuraya. Tejo varimridam yatha vinimayo. Yatra trisargo mrisha. Damna svena sada nirasta kuhakam. Satyam param dhimahi. Actually better if one day you write your shloka in your notebook, this, because in early days, earlier times, there were no phone, no application like in Google store. There was no like this, and people, when they learning something, they were writing. They were writing all Bhagavatam in their notebook. Then they were learning. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Janma Jasyo Yatonvayaditaratas. Charte Shabhigya Swarat. Tene Brahma Hridaya Dikavaye. Mohyanti Yatsuraya. Tejo Varimridam Yatha Vinimayo. Yatra Trisargo Mrisha. Damna Svena Sada Nirastu Kuhakam. Satyam Param Dhimahi. You can repeat.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadyasya yatonvaya ditaratas. Chartesha Vigya Swarat. Tene Brahma Hridaya Dikavaye. Muhyanti Yat Surya. Tejo Varimridam Yatha Vinimayo. Yatra Trisargo Mrisha. Namna Svena Sada Nirasta Guhakam. Satyam Param Dhimahi. Anyone else? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janmadyasya yatonvaya ditaratas. Chartesha Vigya Swarat. Tene Brahma Hridaya Dikavaye. Muhyanti Yat Surya. Tejo Varimridam Yatha Vinimayo. Yatra Trisargo Mrisha. Dhamna Svena Sada Nirasta Kuhakam. Satyam Param Dhimahi. Mataji, you can? Okay. The translation. O my Lord Shri Krishna, son of Vasudeva, O all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primeval cause of all causes of the creation, sustenance, and destruction of the manifested universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion. As one is bewildered by the illusory representation of water seen in fire, or land seen in water, only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifested by the reactions of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they are unreal. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in the transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representations of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is the absolute truth. Mataji, English, you understand? Okay. I will continue purport. It is natural that philosophical mind wants to know about the origin of the creation. At night he sees the stars in the sky, and he naturally speculates about their inhabitants. Such inquiries are natural for man because man has a developed consciousness which is higher than that of the animals. The author of Srimad Bhagavatam gives a direct answer to such inquiries. He says that the Lord Shri Krishna is the origin of all creations. He is only the creator of the universe, but the destroyer as well. The manifested cosmic nature is created at a certain period by the will of the Lord. It is maintained for some time, and then it is annihilated by His will. Therefore, the Supreme Will is behind all cosmic activities. Of course, there are atheists of various categories who do not believe in Creator, but that is due to a poor fund of knowledge. The modern scientist, for example, has created space satellites, and by some arrangement or other, these satellites are thrown into outer space to fly for some time at the control of the scientist who is far away. Similarly, all the universes with innumerable stars and planets are controlled by the intelligence of the personality of Godhead. In Vedic literature, it is said that the absolute truth, personality of Godhead, is the chief amongst of living personalities. All living beings, beginning from the first created being, Brahma, down the smallest ant, are individual living beings, and above Brahma, there are even other living beings with individual capacities, and the personality of Godhead is also a similar living being. and he is an individual as are the other living beings. But the Supreme Lord or the Supreme Living Being has the greatest intelligence, and he possesses supermost inconceivable energies of all different varieties. If a man's brain can produce a space satellite, one can very easily imagine how brains higher than man can produce similarly wonderful things which are far superior. The reasonable person will easily accept this argument, but there are stubborn atheists who would never agree. Srila Vyasadeva, however, at once accepts the Supreme Intelligence as the Parameshvara. He offers his respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Intelligence addressed as the Para or the Parameshvara or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And that Parameshvara is Sri Krishna, as admitted in Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures delivered by Sri Vyasadeva, and specifically in this Srimad Bhagavatam. In Bhagavad Gita the Lord says that there is no other Paratattva, Summum Bonum, than himself. Therefore Sri Vyasadeva at once worships the Paratattva, Sri Krishna, whose transcendental activities are described in the 10th canto. So this is, it is here it is said about Krishna is the original being. It is very important word, Paratattva. In English, Prabhupada translated as Summum Bonum, Latin language. And for Western people, it is easily to understand for them. But Paratattva, for you, better. And then unscrupulous persons go immediately to the 10th canto, and especially to the 5 chapters which describe the Lord's rasa dance. This Panchadhyaya. 5 chapters describe rasa dance in 10th canto. This portion of the Srimad Bhagavatam is the most confidential part of this great literature. Unless one is truly accomplished in the transcendental knowledge of the Lord, one is sure to misunderstand the Lord's worshipable transcendental pastimes called the rasa dance and his love affairs with gopis. The subject matter is highly spiritual, and only the liberated persons who have gradually attained to the stage of Paramahamsa can transcendently relish this rasa dance. Srila Vyasadeva therefore gives the reader the chance to gradually develop spiritual realization before actually relishing the essence of the pastimes of the Lord. Therefore he purposely invokes a Gayatri mantra, Dhimahi. This Gayatri mantra someone can chant, you can read it, find in internet also. But actually you should accept it from spiritual master. And because otherwise it will give only material result but not give any spiritual benefit. Like this. This Gayatri mantra is meant for spiritually advanced people. Jai Shri Gaura Nitai ki jai. When one is successful in chanting the Gayatri mantra, he can enter into the transcendental position of the Lord. One must therefore acquire Brahminical qualities or be perfectly situated in the quality of goodness in order to chant the Gayatri mantra successfully, and then attain to the stage of transcendentally realizing the Lord, His name, His fame, His qualities, and so on. So, to understand Bhagavatam, we need Sattva Guna. By reading, listening Bhagavatam, we can be elevated on the pure Sattva Guna. That's possible. Srimad Bhagavatam is the narration of the Swarupa of the Lord, manifested by His internal potency. Like we have Swarupa, Supreme Lord has Swarupa. And we just see Murti. But actually we should see Swarupa of Bhagavan. Yes, that we should understand this is Swayam Bhagavan. But for this we need some eyes to see. It's not easy to develop these eyes. Only by mercy we can see. Srila Vyasadeva makes a clear... and this potency is distinguished from the external potency which has manifested the cosmic world, which is within our experience. Last time we spoke about 3 Shakti, Chit Shakti, Achit Shakti, Swarupa Shakti. Chit Shakti, Swarupa Shakti, the same. Then Achit Shakti is then Jiva Shakti. So Swarupa Shakti or Chit Shakti, this is internal energy. Or Antaranga is also called. Srila Vyasadeva makes a clear distinction between the two in this shloka. So in this shloka we see the difference between Chit and Achit. Shivasadeva says, herein that the manifested internal potency is real, whereas the external manifested energy in the form of material existence is only temporary and illusory, like the mirage in the desert. In the desert mirage there is no actual water, there is only the appearance of water. Real water is somewhere else. The manifested cosmic creation appears as reality, but reality of which is this is but a shadow, is in the spiritual world. This very nice example, I just try to think about this. That, like we said yesterday, that mirage in the desert, like in the desert, sometimes in Rajasthan maybe, you can see water and you will think that this water is really is real, but actually it's not real, it's just mirage. And I was not actually in Rajasthan, but one devotee told me that he said very hot there, and you need 25 liters of water to drink because so much water is going. Yes, yes. Otherwise you will die. And if there is no water, you just see like in the delirium. So actually this material world is like this. Therefore, this all examples Prabhupada is giving, Prabhupada did not speculate this. He got it from Shastras also. This is very authoritative examples. So it's also dhyana. When we think about this, it's also dhyana, meditation. And this world is like a shadow. Absolute truth is in the spiritual sky, not the material sky. In the material sky, everything is relative truth. This is to say, one truth depends on something else. The cosmic creation results from interaction of the three modes of nature, and the temporary manifestations are so created as to present an illusion of reality to the bewildered mind of the conditioned soul, who appears in so many species of life, including the higher demigods like Brahma, Indra, Chandra, and so on. In actuality, there is no reality in the manifested world. There appears to be reality, however, because of the true reality which exists in the spiritual world, where the personality of God eternally exists with His transcendental paraphernalia. It appears to be reality, but not reality. Because in this world, to understand something, we should relate. One truth depends on other truth. No absolute truth is here. Relative truth. Like we can... blind men, they try to understand what is elephant, how is elephant. And one is touching. Oh, elephant is like like a broomstick. Huh. No, elephant is like maybe big wheel. No, elephant is like there's many conceptions. Like a tree, yes. Snake, yes. I forgot this example. So then this arguing. No, how is elephant? Elephant is like this or elephant is like this. Actually, we speak. So this snake is his trump, yes, and his tail is like broomstick, yes. Oh, very nice example. The chief engineer of a complicated construction does not personally take part in the construction. Who is engineer here? No engineer. You engineer. This is chief engineer of complicated. But he knows every nook and corner because everything is done under his direction. So you can do something, but you don't know any corner, anything. You always depends on Krishna. Even you working like in IT or like sometimes, you cannot say that you know everything. Everything, many things depends on mercy. Sometimes it's not working. This is material world. And similarly, the personality of Godhead, who is the supreme engineer of the cosmic creation, knows every nook and corner, although affairs are being carried out by demigods. So demigods, they carry everything, but actually they also don't know all this material creation. Even they are responsible for many things, they also depend on mercy of Krishna. And beginning from Brahma down to the insignificant end, no one is independent in the material creation. The hand of the Lord is seen everywhere. All material elements as well as all spiritual sparks emanate from Him only. And whatever is created in this material world is but the interaction of two energies, the material and spiritual, which emanate from the Absolute Truth, the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna. This mixing of Chit and Achit, this material world. A chemist can manufacture water in the chemical laboratory by mixing hydrogen and oxygen, but in reality the living entity works in the laboratory under the direction of the Supreme Lord. I said just this. And the materials with which he works are also supplied by the Lord. So whatever you're doing, whatever work you are doing, you can see Krishna everywhere. How? I said, because you just understand, you cannot control everything, you depend on mercy. In details you depend on mercy. So therefore you can see Krishna all day, whatever you're doing. Even Mataji is cooking something. You cannot expect that all time you will cook nicely. Sometimes you always depend on Krishna. That is very nice. The Lord knows everything directly and indirectly, and He is cognizant of all minute details, and He is fully independent. He is compared to a mine of gold. There is mine of gold in Karnataka, no? Gold mine. Gold. Now stop. No gold. No more gold. And the cosmic creation in so many different forms are compared to objects made from the gold, such as gold rings, necklaces, and so on. The gold ring and the gold necklace are qualitatively one with the gold in the mine, but quantitatively the gold in the mine is different. This is Mahaprabhu's teaching. No acharyas before were saying this. Very simple example, like gold necklace. So Mataji is putting on some gold necklace like this. But also gold mine. The same, but not the same. Qualitatively the same. But quantitatively not the same, understood? Yes. Quantitatively means there is so much gold in the gold mine, but here is only a little bit. Earning like this. You understood? So the same, Jiva and Bhagavan. Madhvacharya, he said only one thing. He said difference. Jiva and Bhagavan different. But Mahaprabhu said different and non-different at the same time. By qualities, non-different. Therefore we can develop love to him. It is here, it says, therefore the Absolute Truth is simultaneously different, one and different. Nothing is absolutely equal with the Absolute Truth, but at the same time nothing is independent of the Absolute Truth. Conditioned souls beginning from Brahma, who engineers the entire universe down to the significant end, are all creating, but none of them are independent to the Supreme Lord. The materialist wrongly thinks that there is no creator other than his own self. This is called Maya or illusion. Because of his poor fund of knowledge, the materialist cannot see beyond the purview of his imperfect senses, and thus he thinks that matter automatically takes its own shape without the aid of a superior intelligence. This is refuted in this shloka by Srila Vyasadeva. Since the complete whole of the Absolute Truth is the source of everything, nothing can be independent of the body of the Absolute Truth. Whatever happens to the body quickly becomes known to the embodied. Similarly, the creation is the body of the Absolute Whole. Therefore the Absolute knows everything directly and indirectly that happens in the creation. Sometimes we think that we create our life. Therefore people then don't want to surrender to Krishna, because they think that we create our life. That is wrong. Actually, Krishna creates our life. But we should allow him to do it. Therefore, everyone depends on Krishna, directly or indirectly, everyone. In the Shruti mantra it is also stated that the absolute whole of Brahman is the ultimate source of everything. Everything emanates from him, and everything is maintained by him. And at the end everything enters into him. That is the law of nature. In the Smriti mantra the same is confirmed. It is said that the source from which everything emanates at the beginning of Brahma's millennium, and the reservoir to which everything ultimately enters, is the absolute truth, or Brahman. Material scientists take it for granted that the ultimate source of the planetary system is the sun, but they are unable to explain the source of the sun. Herein the ultimate source is explained. According to the Vedic literatures, Brahma, who may be compared to the sun, is not the ultimate creator. It is stated in the shloka that Brahma was taught Vedic knowledge by the personality of Godhead. One may argue that Brahma, being the original living being, could not be inspired because there was no other being living at that time. Herein it is stated that the Supreme Lord inspired the secondary creator Brahma in order that Brahma could carry out his creative functions. So the supreme intelligence behind all creations is the absolute Godhead Shri Krishna. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Shri Krishna states that it is He only who superintends the creative energy, Prakriti, which constitutes the totality of matter. Therefore Shri Vyasadeva does not worship Brahma, but the Supreme Lord, who guides Brahma in his creative activities. In this shloka, the particular words Abhigya and Swarata are significant. This is actually, this first shloka is explaining of Brahma Gayatri mantra. Maybe you know, maybe you listen sometimes, because in India it's famous. Yes, it's famous, but people should accept it from spiritual master, yes, not just listen from radio. But everyone knows, and they thinking that this shloka is worshipping Brahma. Some people they thinking, but some they thinking that it's worshipping sun. But our parampara, Mahaprabhu also explained this, that actually in the sun, in the heart of the sun, there is Surya Narayana. This is Mahaprabhu, this is avatar of Krishna. So actually this worshipping to Supreme Lord. Therefore so much things is said here, just to explain this, because many people don't know. If they know that they worship to Supreme Lord, they will be different. They do different things. They understood what we are doing is nonsense. We are doing many things, but it's nonsense. In this shloka, two words very significant. Abhigya, Swarat. Very important. Two words distinguish the Supreme Lord from all the living entities. These two qualities which no one is having, only Supreme Lord. First is Abhigya. Abhigya means fully cognizant. Fully cognizant means know everything. Knows everything. So you can understand that you don't know everything. Even you very learned one. Rahul may be very learned one, but he doesn't know everything. And fully independent also. Fully independent. Krishna Reddy also fully independent, but not fully independent. Then we can understand, we are not Supreme Lord. Even Brahma has to meditate upon the Supreme Lord in order to create. Then what to speak of great scientists like Einstein. Like Einstein. great science. The brains of such scientists are certainly not the products of any human being. Scientists cannot manufacture such a brain, and what to speak of foolish atheists who defy the authority of the Lord. Even Mayavadi impersonalists who flatter themselves that they can become one with the Lord are neither Abhigya nor Swarat. Now you can discuss with people who like to follow in Western culture. You can discuss with them using this example. You follow which culture you follow. This culture given by whom? Who is Abhigya and Swarat or not? And people will agree, yes, not Abhigya, not Swarat. Better you follow Krishna. That is a question. If everyone will follow Krishna in Bangalore, then Bangalore will be the first Krishna conscious city. Prabhupada Mini Mataji said to me, such an impersonalists undergo severe austerities to acquire knowledge to become one with the Lord. But ultimately they become dependent on some rich disciple who supplies them with money to build monasteries and temples. That is very important thing. Even in our ISKCON it can happen. Therefore we should know. Those impersonalists, they depend on the disciple, rich disciple. Even they speak that this is illusion. We don't aspire to make big buildings, big temples, no need. If it is possible, okay, but not depend on this. Atheists like Ravana or Hiranyakashipu had to undergo severe penances before they could flout the authority of the Lord. But ultimately they were rendered helpless and could not save themselves. And the Lord appeared before them as cruel death. You can speak to people that if you are not accepting Krishna, you will accept death. Then they will come to Srimad Bhagavatam. If they understand that I will die, they will come. Only then they will listen. Otherwise they will not come, not listen. That is the law of nature. Such atheists will be dealt with similarly, for history repeats itself. Whenever men neglect the authority of the Lord, nature and her laws are there to penalize them. This is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita in the well-known verse, Yada yada hi dharmasya glani. Whenever there is a decline of dharma and the rise of the adharma, Arjuna, then I incarnate myself. Big commentary, what to say, no, but we should finish. Then the Supreme Lord is all perfect, is confirmed in all Shruti mantras. It is said in the Shruti mantras that the all-perfect Lord threw a glance over matter and thus created all living beings. This glance is Sadashiva. These glances. The living beings are parts and parcels of the Lord, and He impregnates the vast material creation with seeds of spiritual sparks, and thus the creative energies are set in motion to enact so many wonderful creations. An atheist may argue that God is no more expert than a watchmaker, but of course God is greater, because He can create machines in duplicate male and female forms. The male and female forms of different types of machineries go on producing innumerable similar machines without God's further attention. So you think that you are man or women, yes? But this is only machine. Machine men, machine women. You understood? Only machine. Not women, not men, actually. And all are women, Prakriti. Therefore, another name for God is Asamaurdhva. Asamaurdhva, very important word. You should write down. Which means no one is equal. Sama equal. Asamaurdhva. No one is equal. No one greater than him. No one equal. Param Satyam, here it is said, the supreme truth, no equal or superior. This is confirmed in the Shruti mantras. It is said that before the creation of the material universe, there existed the Lord only, who is master of everyone. That Lord instructed Brahma in Vedic knowledge. That Lord has to be obeyed in all respects. Anyone who wants to get rid of the material entanglement must surrender unto him. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Unless one surrenders unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, it is certain that he will be bewildered. When an intelligent man surrenders unto the lotus feet of Krishna and knows completely that Krishna is the cause of all causes, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, then only can such an intelligent man can become a Mahatma or great soul. In Bhakti Vriksha model it is said, do you want to become Mahatma? It is there, one model is there. You want to become Mahatma, it says. You want to become Mahatma. No like Mahatma Gandhi, no. Like real Mahatma. Mahatma Gandhi, not Mahatma.
No, even Mahatma Gandhi also carrying in one hand Bhagavad Gita, you know.
Yes, but he didn't understand. That is problem, like monkey. He is putting glasses, but not understanding why. Like eating glasses. He was explaining in the impersonal way.
No, he is also following the Ahimsa.
But he didn't understand what is ahimsa. This is problem. Finally he was a victim of his ahimsa. He became victim of this. He was killed.
And what many people killed also.
Yes. But such a great soul is rarely seen. So real Mahatma is very rare. Only the Mahatmas can understand the Supreme Lord as the primeval cause of all creations. He is Parama, or ultimate truth, because all other truths are relative to him. He is omniscient. For him there is no illusion. Some Mayavadi scholars argue that Srimad Bhagavatam was not compiled by Sri Vyasadeva. That is the other thing. I will speak about this. And some of them suggest that this book is a modern creation written by someone named Vopadeva. In order to refute such meaningless arguments, Shishidhara Swami points out that there is a reference to the Bhagavatam in many of the oldest Puranas. This first shloka of the Bhagavatam begins with the Gayatri mantra. There is a reference to this in the Matsya Purana, which is the oldest Purana. In that Purana it is said, with reference to the Gayatri mantra in the Bhagavatam, that there are many narrations of spiritual instructions beginning with the Gayatri mantra. And there is a history of Vritrasura. History of Vritrasura is special history in Bhagavatam, nowhere you can find. Anyone who makes a gift of this great work on a full moon day, attends, when full moon will be? Today, which day? Let's see. Today we have Amavasya. Oh, Amavasya. Amavasya, very nice to read Bhagavatam more. So we will speak today more. Yes. No breakfast, fasting. Though on full moon, you should give someone as a gift Bhagavatam. If you do this, then this life you return to Godhead. You can practice. Then, when you come in spiritual world, please remember that I also am here. Pray for me. I am very fallen soul. There is a reference to the Bhagavatam in other Puranas also, where it is clearly stated that this work was finished in 12 cantos, which include 18,000 shlokas. Actually, yes, it's not 18,000. It is other thing. But if you count, not 18,000. But it is 18,000. This is inconceivable. Some shlokas is hidden here. In the Padma Purana also, there is reference to the Bhagavatam in the conversation between Gautama and Maharaja Ambarisha. The king was advised therein to read regularly Srimad Bhagavatam if he desired liberation from material bondage. Under the circumstances, there is no doubt about the authority of the Bhagavatam. Within the past 500 years, many erudite scholars and acharyas like Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Vishwanatha Chakravarti, Vallabhacharya, and many other distinguished scholars even after the time of Lord Chaitanya made elaborate commentaries on the Bhagavatam. And the serious student would do well to attempt to go through them to better realize the transcendental message. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur specifically deals with the original and pure sex psychology, Adhirasa. This is another thing. Sex psychology, devoid of all mundane inebriety. And Prabhupada is stressing this. The whole material creation is moving under the principle of sex life. Prabhupada is underlying. Very important thing. Very important. You just think about this. In modern civilization, sex life is the focal point for all activities. Wherever one turns his face, he sees sex life predominant. Therefore, sex life is not unreal. Mayavadi, they think this is unreal. And they become victim of sex life. They like women followers, very like. If women followers, they looking at them. Yes, this Mayavadi, you can look, you can see. No one is really renounced one, these so-called Mayavadis. And the material, its reality is experienced in the spiritual world. The material sex life is but a perverted reflection of the original fact. We should not give up sex life. We should understand what is it, what is behind this. Behind this is love, desire to give love. Behind this. And to get ananda, reciprocation. And this is in pure condition, only in the spiritual world. The original fact is in the absolute truth. And thus the absolute truth cannot be impersonal. If we say impersonal truth, then we will become victim of sex life in this material world. But if we say personality of God, then we will be attracted by Him. This is only solution. Consequently, the impersonalist philosophers have given indirect impetus to the abominable mundane sex life because they have overstressed the impersonality of the ultimate truth. Consequently, man without information of the actual spiritual form of sex has accepted perverted material sex life as the all in all. There is a distinction between sex life in the diseased material condition, spiritual sex life. Try to understand what is the distinction between material sex life, perverted material sex life, and spiritual sex life. The Srimad Bhagavatam will gradually elevate the unbiased reader to the highest perfectional stage of transcendence. It will enable him to transcend the three modes of material activities: fruitive action, speculative philosophy, and worship of functional deities, as inculcated in Vedic verses. So today I will speak little because so big commentary is here. And I first of all, this shloka is glorifying Srimad Bhagavatam, but Prabhupada speaking about Srimad Bhagavatam only at the end of purport to help us understand the context where Srimad Bhagavatam appears. Prabhupada is explaining what is position of God, what is our position, what is Maya, like this. That is called Sambandha. Actually, if you study Vedas, there is only three tattvas in Vedas. Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. Everyone knows this. Sambandha, Abhideya, Prayojana. Prayojana is this word in Telugu, no? Prayojana. Means what? But in Bengal, Prayojana means requirement, what I need. They ask, what is your Prayojan? Like this. But actually in Sanskrit, meaning little bit different. Prayojana not only requirement, like the goal, aim. Нет. And Abhideya, we can say, sometimes we translate like some process, but not right, correct. Not correct translation. Abhideya means I show out something. So this is like this like this. This is Abhideya. So Sambandha show to us Prayojana. And the process, how it is showing, this is Abhideya. I will speak later, not suffer about this. So we just speak about Srimad Bhagavatam. Then Bhagavatam also. Bhagavatam, first Bha. If you speak long, Bha, Bhagavatam. That means devotee. Bhakta, Bhagavata. But if short, Vamana. That means Bhagavata. This is Grantha, book. So Bhagavatam means the same. Devotee and the book. And also Jiva Goswami explained that is like it is like a sun, Bhagavatam like a sun in Kali Yuga. And actually there is only sun in Kali Yuga, this, not this. And Srila Gaura Govinda Swami always speaking that today, bad day, bad weather, if we didn't listen Krishna Katha, didn't listen Bhagavatam Katha. Even outside very bad weather. But if outside good weather, but we didn't listen Krishna Katha, yes, bad day. But if outside bad weather and we listen Krishna Katha, very nice day, good weather. So actually the real sun is Bhagavatam. You should understand this. And Krishna Swadvama Pagate Dharmagyanadi Bisaha Kalau Nashtadrisha Mesha Puranarka Dunoditaha. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.3.43. This is shloka about Bhagavatam like sun. Comparing Bhagavatam like sun. Very important verse if you learn it. Very nice. 1.3.43. Like Ondu Muru. 43 I don't know how to speak. Then it will be later said Brahma, how he created Bhagavatam. We will speak about this later. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, inside Bhagavatam, there is Chatur Shloka. Actually, Brahma, he received Bhagavatam in the form of 4 verses only. This is Chatur Shloka in the 9th chapter of 10th, on the 2nd canto. We will speak later. That's very nice, and everything is there in these 4 shlokas. But people cannot understand, therefore other acharyas explain more. Shukadeva Goswami spoke more, Sutta Goswami spoke more. Then this one thing. Then Satyam Param Dhimahi, I spoke about this also. And that means Satyam Param, that means Srimad Bhagavatam is not written book. Srimad Bhagavatam is eternal. Actually, Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the Krishna, Bhagavan himself. And we should put him on the golden throne, it is said. But we cannot, we are so poor. But actually, we should do this. And also do puja for Bhagavatam. But we have no time. Yes. We in Kali Yuga. But actually, in our heart, we should think like this. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, so many narrators, they spoke this. Actually, Shukadeva Goswami, he spoke, but he spoke about dialogue of Vidura with Maitreya. Vidura was Maitreya speaking what Krishna is speaking to Uddhava, so then after Shukadeva Goswami spoke, his father Vyasadeva again wrote this Srimad Bhagavatam with the words of Sutta Goswami, who was disciple of Shukadeva. So Vyasadeva was listening how his son Shukadeva Goswami was speaking Bhagavatam, and then wrote down. So this is so strong. So Vyasadeva again wrote down Bhagavatam. Very interesting. So many dialogues in dialogues. This. And we cannot say that Bhagavatam was changed. Someone was written Bhagavatam. No, it's not true. And the proof is one nice devotee, Sridhara Swami. He was a devotee in a very ancient time, Vaishnava. Some they say he was from Vishnu Swami, Rudra Sampradaya. He was a worshipper of Narasimhadev. And he was giving a very nice purport of Bhagavatam. Mahaprabhu, when he came, he said, I accept Swami. Like Swami means also husband. He said, I accept Swami. I am faithful to Swami. So I never say what is against Swami, Sridhara Swami. And what I want to say, many commentaries are there. Prabhupada, he just summarized, because so many books on Sanskrit. Many, Srinath Chakravarti, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Shona Chakravarti, Baladev Vidyabhush. And they were writing these commentaries for their time, for more intelligent people than we are. That time, preaching was only for very intelligent people. Like now in Bengaluru, we're preaching for the most intelligent people, IT. Yes, tradition. And then one thing happened. In 13th century, one Vopadeva came, not Vyasadeva, Vopadeva, in Maharashtra. And he wrote some commentaries on Bhagavatam. Paramahamsa Priya, like this, Mukta Bhava, Hari Lila. And he was very famous, good karma he was hearing. And someday he was saying that Vopadeva wrote this Bhagavatam only. And but it is not correct. And our acharyas, they explaining that actually Bhagavatam is glorified in Puranas, very old Puranas. You can go in Udupi, in some Tattvavadi Math, some Math. They not like accept Srimad Bhagavatam. Some not, anyway, some they not accept. You can find. Or they accept Srimad Bhagavatam, they not accept our understanding of Srimad Bhagavatam. Also, but Madhvacharya, he wrote a commentary of Srimad Bhagavatam. He did not explain 10th canto like this. Didn't explain in details this gopis, because Madhvacharya's was idea to give only Dasya Rasa, Dasya Mood. But he didn't touch the confidential topics, which Mahaprabhu explained in his followers. And in one, also one commentary saying, Himadri, saying that all religious principles which is given in Srimad Bhagavatam fit for the people of Kali Yuga. So, if we speak about religion, our religion is Bhagavatam. And this is religion for everyone. And then Shankaracharya, he didn't touch Bhagavatam. Madhvacharya, he didn't explain in details this Madhurya Rasa, like Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, not this. But Shankaracharya, he didn't touch Bhagavatam, because it's not, because Bhagavatam is against Mayavada, finishing Mayavada. And then I want to say about Madhvacharya. he came to finish this power of followers of Shankaracharya. And when he came, so many Mayavadis were there, and in Karnataka. So many. He was, Madhvacharya was preaching and always discussing, always defeating all Mayavadis. This is very nice how he was doing this. And his idea was to give Bhagavatam to people, but he could not give the whole Bhagavatam because people were not ready. They were thinking only about impersonal liberation. Therefore, Madhvacharya, he established this idea, difference between Jiva and Bhagavan. He gave so much enthusiasm, so much inspiration for this. The people, they started to worship Vishnu. That's very good. And he established the deity of Krishna, Gopal, in Udupi. Not Narayana, Gopal. But when Madhvacharya, he appeared in Brahma Sampradaya. He got initiation. But really, this Brahma Sampradaya was, he actually became like Shankara Sampradaya. Became like Mayavadi Sampradaya. That time, it was degradation. Everything was down. So, he is Achyuta Preksha. He is a spiritual master who gave him initiation. He was having doubts in this philosophy, Mayavada philosophy. And he was teaching, but he was having doubts, like this. And when Madhvacharya, he appeared, he clarified all doubts of his teacher. And he gave instructions to his own teacher. And then Madhvacharya, he came to Himalayas, to Badri Ashram. No one can go there, but he could. And now he's staying there, Badri Ashram. He was getting instructions from Vyasadeva directly. Therefore we say in our parampara, Vyasadeva is in Madhvacharya. Shiksha parampara, it is said. And then Madhvacharya, he approved that Bhagavatam not speaking about impersonal Brahman. Bhagavad speaking only about Bhagavan. Mahaprabhu, he was also from Sampradaya, from Madhva Sampradaya. We will speak maybe later. But many acharyas of these Madhva Sampradayas, before Madhvacharya came, they were also Vaishnavas. But they was hiding the identity of Vaishnava. Because Mayavada was so strong, Mayavadi could kill them. Even like this. Like today, some devotees, they hiding tilak, kanhi. But no one will kill you, but you hiding. But that time was really danger. If someone become Vaishnava, people can kill him. This you can understand what people were there this time. Now it's different. Now it's better. Madhvacharya was devotee of Krishna from the beginning. That's a very nice person. And then I can say that Mahaprabhu, he amalgamated 4 sampradayas in 1 sampradaya. I said about this yesterday. I promised I will speak about this more. And what actually Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, Vishnu Swami, Nimbarka, what actually they did? They gave commentary of Vedanta Sutra. That was their work. Because everywhere followers of Shankaracharya were there. Shankaracharya, he established very strong logic. And everyone, you cannot defeat them because they are so strong in logic. And they have own commentary of Vedanta Sutra. If you want to establish your teaching, you should give your commentary. And with very strong logic also. More strong than there. So every Acharya, they were trying. They're giving their commentaries. Ramanuja, Madhva, others. But their teaching were not perfect. Their teaching were good for their time. But actually only God Himself can give perfect teaching. That is the thing. Only Mahaprabhu could come and give the perfect teaching. And Mahaprabhu, what he wrote? Shikshastika, only 8 verses, nothing else. Other things his followers written, like Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, like this. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur also considered the 7th Goswami Acharyas. But he lived in 19th century, and he spoke about this, that what Mahaprabhu he got from any sampradaya, Brahma Madhva Sampradaya, Shuddha Dvaita, this pure, like dualism, like me and Bhagavan, we always different. And like Jiva and Prakriti. Ramanujacharya said different thing. Ramanujacharya said that sometimes different, sometimes not different. Ramanujacharya said. But he could not explain it in details. Therefore, it was like, maybe like Mayavada teaching. Maybe like different, like very little, but not so strong argument against Mayavada. Not so strong. But for people that was good, because people were under influence of Mayavada that time. But what Madhvacharya said, he said about there is Jiva, Prakriti and Ishvara, Sambandha. You can understand this. And he said that, like, today we read Bhagavatam. This is from Madhvacharya, I said about this world is shadow. Pratibimba. This bimba, this is spiritual world. And Pratibimba, the shadow. There is in Telugu this Pratibimba, bimba, yes. Okay. And Ishvara, Bhagavan, is bimba. And Pratibimba is material world. And Prakriti and Jiva is Pratibimba. He gave this very nice explanation. And Rudra Sampradaya is Shuddha Advaita. Also similar to Mayavada. Very, very similar to Mayavada. But Vaishnavas. Yes. This appears later because of Vallabhacharya. Yes. Vallabhacharya is different personality. He gave some, he added something by teaching of Mahaprabhu. From teaching Mahaprabhu this. And actually Jiva and Ishvara, it is said here, non-different. And it is said like karma and reaction. Like Krishna is karma, Jiva is reaction, like this. Very not clear explanation, not clear explanation. Like some action and consequence. Action and consequence. Not clear explanation. But also they gave something very nice. And who was following this sampradaya? Bilva Mangal Thakur, and already I said Sridhar Swami. Then Vishnu Swami, Kumara Sampradaya. Swabhaviki Advaita Dvaita. Nimbarkacharya, it is said. And Nimbarkacharya said that Jiva and Ishvara different and non-different. And he said, no need to speak so much because it is natural. He said, you just feel. You can just feel it. Also not strong explanation. Now I am simplifying. I have no time to speak more. I just simplify these teachings so that you can understand. And Nimbarkacharya is giving example of snake. Snake, like a ring, become ring. And he said, we have ring, golden ring, and we have snake. What is difference? Snake like ring, but also it's not ring. Like this. We'll see, snake became ring, but it is not ring. So we like Bhagavan, but we not Bhagavan. not also fully. And therefore Mahaprabhu said, you never understand it by logic. Never understand this difference and non-difference by logic. And what he got from any sampradaya. It is said Utkale Purushottama. All these 4 sampradayas came from Orissa. How? And because the preaching started from Jagannath Puri, Purushottam Kshetra. And then Mahaprabhu, what he got? From Ramanuja Sampradaya, Mahaprabhu got Bhakta Seva, Vaishnava Seva, serving to Vaishnavas. Actually, when in ISKCON now, so much stressing Vaishnava Seva sometimes. But we should see, is it influence of Sri Sampradaya or is it true teaching of Mahaprabhu? We should understand. Because we have such little bit difference between what in Sri Sampradaya and what is our Sampradaya. Ramanujacharya said a very big importance of Vaishnava Seva. And to serving to all Vaishnava, that is good. But also in Mahaprabhu's teaching, we giving stress on serving to highly elevated Vaishnavas. Very important. Vaishnava Seva means to serve highly elevated personality. That is real Vaishnava Seva. But also when we follow other Vaishnavas, that is also Vaishnava Seva. You see, different, non-different. We can understand only by mercy of Mahaprabhu this. But sometimes devotees, they simplify and they say, we just serve to anyone. Anyone is a pure Vaishnava. Anyone is elevated Vaishnava. It's not true. Prabhupada said, we are like hospital. In hospital there is a very chief doctor. He is highly elevated Vaishnava. But there are some practicing doctors. They are not perfect. You should not think that they are highly elevated Vaishnavas. You should understand, but we serve differently, but we serve, yes, okay. And then, first thing, Vaishnava Seva, he got from Sri Sampradaya. And the second thing, Ananya Bhakti. Ramanujacharya gave explanation what is Ananya Bhakti, what is very important thing, Shuddha Bhakti. Like we said, Anya Bilashita Shunyam, Yana Karma Janavritam. Anukulena Krishnanu Shilnam Bhakti Ruttama. This explanation. Then from Madhacharya, Mahaprabhu got Krishna Murti Seva, Krishna Murti Seva. Because actually, before Madhvacharya, they were worshipping Narayana, but Gopal in Vrindavan, Gopal Krishna, not worship, was not worshipped. Actually, some acharyas maybe they were worshipping, but we don't know. But it was not common practice. So he gave this in Udupi, he established. And second, arguments defeating Mayavada. That is second thing Mahaprabhu got from Madhvacharya's teaching. Arguments defeating Mayavada. Arguments against Mayavada. Because Madhvacharya, he was very strong, he was physically strong and spiritually. Sometimes he was defeating Mayavadis in this way. He's saying, let us fight. And they were fighting. Mayavadis could not defeat Madhvacharya because he was very strong. He was Bhima in his past life. So he said, I am so strong because I am Vishnu Bhakta. Okay, no arguments. Like this. Sometimes they coming and he said, I cannot argue with you. I have no time. I am now giving class. But you can just try to move my finger. They could not. He said, because I am Vishnu Bhakta. Vishnu is. But also he gave logic arguments also. By logic also he was defeating. So he was very strong. He was preaching in South India, everywhere. Also it is said, because South is a direction of Yamaraj, Yama. Therefore all the sins accumulated in the South. Therefore all acharyas appeared in the South, out of compassion, it is said. And Madhvacharya, out of compassion, he was traveling everywhere. Here, I think maybe in Bangalore also he was there, in Bengaluru. We don't know. I know he was in Tirupati, many places, but actually he was traveling everywhere. He blessed this earth. And then Vishnu Swami. From Vishnu Swami or Rudra Sampradaya, Mahaprabhu got Raga Marga teaching, spontaneous service. Vishnu Swami, we said his philosophy was like Mayavadi. Yes, but he gave this Raga Marga, spontaneous service. That is good. Actually, it's not easy to understand, because real Raga Marga was given by Mahaprabhu, but also in Rudra Sampradaya they were glorifying God and they chanting the names like this. They were glorifying, doing Sankirtan also. And Tadiya Sarvasva Bhava, the feeling, full independence of Krishna, that is also given by Vishnu Swami. Tadiya Sarvasva, full independence of Krishna, complete independence of Krishna. And next, Nimbarka Acharya, Kumara Sampradaya, Gopi Bhava. So in Nimbarka Sampradaya, they have teaching about gopis in Vrindavana. But they not developing like Sakya Rasa, Madhurya Rasa, not developing. Only Dasya Rasa was in all these Sampradayas. Dasya Rasa, yes. And also Kanta Radhika Asraya. They taking shelter of Radha. This is second thing. Gopi Bhava and Kanta Radhika Asraya. This is from Kumara Sampradaya. And when Mahaprabhu appeared, he influenced all these Sampradayas also, and Nimbarka Sampradaya also changed. So this Nimbarka Sampradaya, actually Vallabhacharya from Nimbarka Sampradaya, not Rudra Sampradaya. Rudra Sampradaya. But also Nimbarka Sampradaya got influence. Some other Nimbarka was there. Maybe, yes. And now they chanting in Vrindavan, we can come in Varshana, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Shyam, like this. Not Hare Krishna, but this is also influence of Mahaprabhu also. What I can say, I don't know so many informations. But this, we can say that Mahaprabhu, he gave this philosophy, amalgamated, Achintya Beda Beda Tattva. And next time we will speak more about this, about teaching of Mahaprabhu, about many things. But now we should conclude. Today, now is so much time. Jai Granth Haraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Nanda Kuti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Nidai Gaura Premananda. Okay. Understood? Difficult topic, not?
This Nimbarkacharya, what I see, even today at least, they do talk about.
They do?
With the only sampradaya that talk about, say, Madhurya Rasa or Vrindavan or Rajvika. So they were doing before Mahaprabhu?
No, before Mahaprabhu was not Madhurya Bhava. Actually, some Vatsalya mood is there. Vatsalya mood.
No, but similar bhavas like these Alvar saints, right? Like in the Sri Sampradaya, like Andal. their work includes a lot of description of Radharani and
Yes. But
so
no.
it's very similar to Gita.
Yes. No prema, Madhurya prema, no was there.
But she was like in a similar bhav like Mirabai.
Yes, like Jayadev Goswami. Jayadev Goswami was before Mahaprabhu.
Yeah.
But it is not mentioned he was having prema. He by the mercy of Krishna, he wrote Gita Govinda. By the mercy, he was not having even example you can understand when he wrote Dehipada Pallava Udaram, that Krishna is asking dust from the lotus feet of Radha. He was confused. That means he was not having pure
And then Krishna
knowledge.
came and completed the verse for him.
Yes, but he was not having prema. It is said that prema was distributed by Mahaprabhu. They were having bhava like this, maybe some ruchi, sakti, maybe having some mood, but not complete. Complete was given by Mahaprabhu. I listened from my Gurudev. He explained me.
There is one more thing though, that I have also heard. Like Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, when he comments on this Bhagavatam, he says that they do not, even if they purify themselves, they may go back to body, but they do not go into Goloka Vrindavan.
Yes, because Goloka Vrindavan, to come there, we need mercy of Mahaprabhu. But now they can go to Goloka Vrindavan if they follow Mahaprabhu. No problem is there. Therefore, Mahaprabhu is available for everyone, any sampradaya. Even this Madhva devotee, Madhva sannyasi, Acharya, chief of Madhva sampradaya, he was speaking on about Jayapatak Swami glorifying him. He is glorifying Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also. He also very elevated person. If he wants, he can develop this. But actually, every teaching is for special audience. So these four sampradayas they were giving Vaikuntha abode. But actually to get Goloka abode, that is needed Mahaprabhu's mercy. Mahaprabhu's mercy is needed. And I cannot say that all it was not just prema before Mahaprabhu, but it was not distributed.
Because prem is eternal, right? If you connect with, of course, like somebody can popularize it much more and take it.
Yes, and also
But prem is eternal, right?
not like full complete prema, and we can say just bhava like one step to prema, but complete was given by Mahaprabhu.
The first symptoms of developed prema was found only in
Madhavendra Puri. We have many examples also. Some Vrindavan mood was developing, like Vishnu Puri was there. I told yesterday about this Rajendra Tirtha was who was his guru? Vyasa Tirtha, maybe, I don't remember. So I just find out. So his guru, there was one Acharya was followers of Madhva Acharya, and his name was now I will say that is very interesting story. His guru was Vidyanidhi Tirtha. Vidyanidhi Tirtha, he was going to leave his body. And he was having one disciple, Rajendra Tirtha. He wanted him to become next Acharya. But Rajendra Tirtha was not here. He was doing seva. So another disciple came. And he gave to him this position of Acharya. But actually it happened that he didn't leave his body. Gopal arranged. And then he made two acharyas. Then from Madhva Sampradaya another branch appeared. And Rajendra Tirtha, his beloved disciple, he became like traveling acharya. And other disciple, he got responsibility of Udupi, in Udupi, on Mathas, Mandiras. And we can see, this is very interesting thing, because the teaching in Udupi sometimes not clear. Sometimes they criticizing Mahaprabhu in some matters. Because if we attached to some property, to some material things, it can be problem for us. But Rajendra Tirtha, he was not having anything. And his followers were just traveling. His followers also came to Bengal and distributed this from Karnataka to Bengaluru also. And in his line, Madhavendra Puri appeared, who was traveling Radha Krishna devotee. First devotee of Radharani was Madhavendra Puri. Because Radharani herself appeared in front of him. Therefore, like this. And before him, actually in Madhva Sampradaya there was Vatsali Mudu already. They were worshipping Gopal. It also appeared. And it came from Udupi also, because Madhavacharya, he established Gopal. And this is also Vatsali Mudu, the little Gopal. So we can see that like Krishna is a crooked. And everything, history is crooked also. You cannot see that like straight history. History also crooked. Krishna is crooked. What can we say today? Today we speak more about history. IT here. That is also needed sometimes. But more we speak about Krishna Katha, we should speak more about Krishna. Hare Krishna. Vanchikalpatarubhyasya kripasindubhyasya patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavabhyo.